Whoops, there we go.
Come on, come in.
Technical difficulties.
Welcome.
What's up, everyone? I couldn't wait till tomorrow. It's like Christmas night, Christmas Eve, and I had to stream today because I was just really wanting to. I had either, oh, welcome, first time listener. I love that. Big fan of Rohan. Okay, muster of the Rohan. Here we go. I came home. Revenant. Oh my gosh, 5 first timers get gifts. Congrats to all the members, all the new gifted memberships. Revenant, thank you so much. That's incredible already. You're the best. So I came home tonight. Well, I posted that earlier today because I was like, hey, I would love to actually do a read tonight, but I didn't know if I could. So I scheduled it for tomorrow and was like, hey, everyone, I'm going to do this tomorrow, but if anybody wants to do it tonight, I might be able to. And I came home and it was just perfect timing. I had to change it by a half hour, but it just worked out, and I didn't want to wait till tomorrow because I have an essay that I have written, but I need to record and I need to edit it about how Éowyn is exactly like Boromir. That'll come out Thursday. Tomorrow there's a confused essay about me talking about the Palantir, and everyone is just saying that I'm overthinking it, but I don't think I am. The thing is just confusing. Maybe it's just confusing for a first time reader, but the Palantir is, I'm all over the place with that thing. Oh yes, what a good day painting while you're listening. Oh, that's so good. Sorry, Nemo. Am I really overthinking it? The whole thing just seems so bizarre. I mean, a little sneak peek for tomorrow's video. But why does he say that he got to wrench it out of Sauron's control? Oh, you're sick? That sucks. What do you have? What kind of sickness do you have? Man, painting and doing this is the perfect combo. Wow. Painting and listening. What a good combo. I have a feeling we're not going to get quite as many watching the stream, but that's okay. I like smaller numbers sometimes. More intimate. There's a whole Palantir section of the Unfinished Tales. I'm so pumped. Oh, I hate being sick. Love that, Dane. Good. I'm pumped for you to be here. Because Saruman favorited his post one too many times. What if I should fake? I can't fake it. I'd be terrible. I should read this right now just for everyone and then delete this VOD and then act like I'm doing it tomorrow too. And read it all for the first time again. I don't think I could do that with a straight face. That'd be so difficult. I'm not a good actor. I feel like it'd be fun to act, but I'm not a good actor. So, okay, Revenant. This is the thing I'm kind of confused about with the Palantir. Because Saruman had one, and it seemed to inflate his sense of purpose and belonging. Like, I think, okay, so this is going to be maybe not like a controversial thing, because I think one of the things that Tolkien is saying is that with Saruman is that anybody who has power, that can go astray and that can go awry. But part of me thinks the Palantir also aided in that. Like, there just seems like there's something devious about the Palantir, that it's not just a Zoom call. It has to be more than just Skype. There seems like there's some evil intent. I know. So they're rare. They're like first age things, right? But they just seem more devious than that. Like, more devious than just communication devices. Because, like, Zoom isn't devious, or Skype isn't devious, or FaceTime isn't devious. Can you use it for devious things? I don't think you can. Can you? Is there devious activity that's happening on FaceTime that I don't know about? connects the minds of the two users. Interesting. It's Microsoft Teams. No! I think that's true. I think it's on who's on the other side as well. But I also think that there's something more sinister. Because it feels like whoever's on the other side can kind of control the person who is calling them. Because it seems like Sauron had control of it, and then he controlled Aragorn. And Aragorn had to wrestle him. He had to wrestle him, and he had to get it. Discord is not devious, but that Discord is. Could use Zoom to hypnotize you. That's actually kind of true. That's actually a great point. You could do magic across it. It's Slack. The worst of all. Oh gosh. I think we all had Slack for a little bit and then couldn't do it anymore. Discord is just a better Slack. Unfinished Tales, so they weren't evil until Sauron got a hold of one. I believe that. That's something that I believe. But also I believe that they became evil in some way when Sauron got to them. Now, I don't know what I'm talking about because obviously I haven't finished this. And I haven't done any of the Unfinished Tales. But it seems like he bent them to his evil will in some way. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that. Anyway. How's everyone going? How's everyone doing? How's everyone going? What's the phrase? June, you would know this. In Aussie. What do they say in Aussie when they greet each other? I just blanked on it. It's cool. It's like typical. Well, it's typical, but because how are you doesn't make much sense, to be honest, in linguistics. Oi, matey. No, I don't mean g'day. They say it in Bluey sometimes. That's why I know. Like, what is the equivalent to how are you? Oi, matey. How's it going? Maybe. You would probably know more than me. I feel like they had some weird phrase. I had some Australian friends and they would say something weird. No, not how's it hanging. Maybe I'm totally off. Anyway, how's it? Maybe it's just how's it. No, g'day. G'day. What if I do this whole reading in an Australian accent? We really fool the people who are coming in here. Howdy is just a shorter version of how do you do. Interesting. I didn't even know that. Crikey, mate. It's a big one. I should do it in the voice of the crocodile hunter. The legend of Steve Irwin. I miss that guy. Okay, here's the question. Here's the question for the night before we get into a reading. We'll read in 15-ish minutes. If you could invite 3 people, living or dead, to dinner, what 3 people would they be? That is the question for the night. If you had to invite 3 people, dead or alive, well, they're not going to be dead dinner guests. You know what I mean? People in all human history. Who would you invite to dinner? Yeah, we all speak English. Yes, great qualifier. Great qualifier. Yeah, like you're not going to invite, like, I don't know, who's a non-English speaker, like Genghis Khan. They'll have a translator for you. And the translator isn't one of the 3. Oh, Tolkien, Christopher Lee, and George Lucas. I love that. You have an answer that you'll never put on the internet? Why? That feels weirdly suspicious. Why? Interesting. Or we should do this. How about this question? Let's spice it up a little bit. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. That's a good one. Christopher Lee is great answer. How about fictional or non-fictional? Questionable choices. Who's your guys' favorite fictional character? That's another good one. Tolkien, St. John, and Robert Braveheart. Robert the Bruce. Oh, that's a good one. Billy the Kid. Interesting pick. Socrates and Sigmund Freud. That's an interesting selection. The last human born on Earth, the first human to meet an alien, and the first human who cracks the speed of light. Wow, that's kind of cool. John Wick is your favorite fictional? The mustard of Rohan goes very well with the ketchup of Gondor. There's gonna be a lot of puns tonight. Also, everyone liked the stream, so more people jump in. Ooh, Tolkien rants. That's a good one. Mr. Darcy, Pippin, and Elizabeth Bennet. Elizabeth Bennet I probably have on mine. Although, I think the BBC Pride and Prejudice is better than the movie Pride and Prejudice because I don't think Keira Knightley is a good Elizabeth. She's not my Elizabeth. Hashtag not my Elizabeth. I think Jennifer Ellie is a better Elizabeth, or Jennifer L, how I used to say it. I think it's Ellie now. Not now, but I think I learned how to pronounce that, but I don't know. I might be wrong. Anyway, I forgot all of what I was going to say for that. Oh, my one favorite cast in the newer one in the movie is Rosamund Pike. Which sister does she play? She plays the oldest sister. And I think she knocks that out of the park. Although Rosamund Pike scares the crap out of me because of the movie Gone Girl. I don't think I could ever, not that I ever will be in a relationship with her, but I don't think I could ever do that. Jennifer L is superior, I think so. Tolkien rants, I feel like you're going to be outnumbered here by us old folk. Tolkien, Gandalf, and Christopher Lee. That's actually great. So you'd have Saruman, Gandalf, and J.R. Tolkien. Matthew McFadyen is a good one, I think. Robert Baratheon. Captain William Lawrence? Who's that? Bilbo Baggins. But they would get along. Da Vinci, Abe Lincoln, Marcus Aurelius. Wow, you guys are picking pretty good ones. I would pick sentimental ones. I'd probably have my grandma there. This is how I'm going to put you guys all to shame. Because she was a great lady. I've thought about this question a lot. The reason why I asked that was because I honestly would consider putting Steve Irwin in this list. Do you guys know this video? There's a video of Steve Irwin, and he's talking about conservation, and his wife is in the background. It's one of my favorite videos of all time for like how passionate this man was. Oh, I love him. I could talk about him for so long. I love Steve Irwin so much. He's talking about how people like, yeah, he's like, and money. I can't get enough money because you know what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to put it right back into conservation. And then he keeps talking about all this stuff. And then his wife is in the background, and his wife is like, I've never seen a woman more in love with their husband at any point in any human existence's life. And, it's just so heartwarming. And that stupid Stingray took him too early. Freaking Stingray. Honestly, Steve Irwin, yeah, I would legitimately do Steve Irwin, Fred Rogers, and Bob Ross. That would be, or Anthony Bourdain. He would be maybe a little bit too depressing, but Bob Ross would be so good. Doesn't his son do painting now? The joy of painting? Thank you for the praise on my Steve accent. Scottish knight ancestor? That's pretty cool. Dang. I would like just a chill dinner. Give me Steve Irwin, Fred Rogers, and Bob Ross. Oh, what a good dinner that would be. Goodness gracious, what a good dinner that would be. I might choose, so I would potentially choose, it would depend on what kind of dinner I would want to have. If I want a chill dinner, those three are the ones. If I want a dinner where like I want to be moved by emotional stories, that seems oddly specific. But if I want that kind of dinner where I want to cry by people telling me stories, I would probably pick Joan Didion, probably J.R. Tolkien, and potentially Marilyn Robinson, but maybe not. I would maybe potentially pick Flannery O'Connor, because Flannery O'Connor just knows how to tell a story, but she would make me cry for different reasons. She would make me cry because she'd expose things about myself that I didn't even know existed. Mr. Rogers and Steve Irwin would be a great crossover. Ooh, I like the movie directors. That's a good one. Those are some good choices. Denis Villeneuve. He's got some good movies. I know the Dune movies are very controversial, but I think they're great. And I'm very excited for the third one. And I hope they do well. Maybe they're not great adaptations, but because I haven't read that yet, I don't necessarily care about the adaptations. When I read Dune, maybe I'll really care about the adaptations deeply, and it's going to really annoy me. But I don't know. We'll see. Anthony Bourdain, Andrew Zimmern? I don't know who's Andrew Zimmern, and Adam Rickman. I don't know who those last two are. If I wanted to have a really good dinner, I'd do like Gordon Ramsay, Wolfgang Puck, and Julia Childs. Who's the French cook who wrote The Joy of Cooking or The Joy of French Cuisine? Dude, the Dune movies are way more controversial than I realized. Maybe that was how people. Yeah, Julia Childs. Definitely get those people. They would cook me a mean dinner. Oh, Zimmerman and Rickman are food hosts. Who's SLB for a director? Hitchcock, Nolan. I don't know who I do for directors. Directors is a tough one. I'd probably do Villeneuve. Greta Gerwig. I would love Greta Gerwig. I think she's interesting. And she's coming out with she's doing the Narnia series. So when that comes out, I'm pumped to read that and go through it. That's going to be great. Just dropped my book. No big deal. Ooh, Dune is the single best sci-fi book. Okay, I'm going to run a quick poll because I'm interested in this. I didn't do a poll before. Hold on. I want to know a poll between Dune and Foundation. Engage with your audience. Start a poll. Best sci-fi. Come on, focus, camera. Dune. All right, you gotta vote on one or the other. Best sci-fi, Dune or Foundation. Can be the man I need. What's everyone's summer song? Because I have Olivia. What's her name? Olivia Dean's song, "Come Be the Man I Need" or "The Man I Need," stuck in my head. It's a great song. It's a summer bop. Sanjay Lee Bhansali, Hindi film director who makes majestic films. Interesting. Got to check out some of his movies. Paper Planes. Oh, we're going back. I love that. Hiding in the Blue by Fat Rat. I didn't even know that song. I'm not very good at song recognition. Foundation is important but dull, really? Interesting. I heard it was better. People say it's better than Dune, but maybe I'm wrong. Summer Nights by Van Halen. Oh, yeah, for sure. My song, Your Idol? Your Idol? Dune is more obviously big themed. Interesting. What's more... I know nothing is similar to Lord of the Rings fantasy, but what would you say is more similar to Lord of the Rings in the sci-fi world? Is it Dune or Foundation? Like, what captures... I feel like Dune is like an antithesis to this. But at the same time, I feel like it's more like thought-provoking, potentially, than Foundation is. Dancing in the Moonlight. Oh my gosh. What a good song. The summer vibes right there. Dancing in the Moonlight. Dancing in the Moonlight's a good karaoke night song too. Yeah, everyone thank Revenant because he gave you guys gifted memberships. That's pretty dope. Also, what was I gonna say? Oh, like the stream. I'm gonna be annoying and keep saying that every once in a while. Van Morrison deep dive. I love that. I don't listen to a ton of music, to be honest, but I'm trying to get into it more. Music sometimes is like a little too much for me. There's too much music in the world. But here I am liking books, and I don't think there's too many books in the world. This is, okay, I've said this before on the stream, and I'm going to end with this before we jump into the read. I'll jump in there in 5 minutes. I get sad sometimes. What if I just ended the sentence there? I do sometimes get sad, but I get sad sometimes thinking about how there are going to be great works of literature and incredible movies that are created after I'm dead, and I won't be able to enjoy them. And I get sad thinking that there were people who died before this masterpiece was published, and they didn't get to experience this. That makes me sad. And I think about that with good music, with good movies, with good plays, with good books, with all great art. Like, way past my life, there's going to be incredible things that are created, and I'm not going to get to enjoy them. And I don't know why, but I think about that a lot, and that's really sad to me. A little sneak peek into my depressed life, thinking about art and how I won't be able to enjoy all of it because I'll die one day. You know what I mean? Tears for the songs you'll never hear. I know. I know, for real. So many good writers died in World War One. Could have had so many good stories. Or like, I even think about, I mean, something's not simple, but like Anne Frank passing away. Like, if she got out of the camps, they probably wouldn't have published her diary, maybe, but maybe she would have gone on to be a writer. The whole world was open to her. She could have written incredible books. Man, there were so many good writers out there. Man, that's what I think about all the time. Sorry for spoiling and making you guys think about that now. All right, let's jump into a little bit of a read right now. How is this chapter? Let me check it out on Audible. Is this longer or shorter than the last? Because I think the first 3 are kind of long. Come be the man I need.
2 days later.
Sorry. Imagine if I read like that. It's shorter than the previous 2. Ooh, Siege of Gondor is a long chapter though, and then we just hit shorter ones for the rest of it. Alrighty, a little shorter. No, I don't think about that all the time, but I think about that every once in a while. Honestly, legitimately, those are the best stories. The ones that you just write for yourself, and then other people just jump in and they enjoy it. That's the best way to start something. That's how I started this channel. I just make stuff that I like. And if you want to jump in, then you can. If you don't, who cares? Yeah, that's actually, the poll is kind of surprising to me. Maybe that's the next, I mean, that's probably not the full next book that I'll read, but I thought Foundation, I thought it was going to be a bit more even. I thought Dune was going to win, but I thought Foundation was going to be a bit more popular. Interesting. All right, let's do a little the muster of Rohan. All right, let's get reading. Perfect timing. Okay. Let's see what this chapter is about. Ooh, beautiful. I get so giddy and excited whenever I get to read a chapter with you guys. It's so fun. I am so excited. All right, here we go. Chapter 3 of book 5. You guys can't see my feet, right? Because my feet are on my chair. Hold on, let's see if I can. I need to know the parameters. Okay, just saw a little bit of a blurry toe there. This is chapter 3 of Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. The muster. Not the mustard. The muster of Rohan. Now all roads were running together to the east, to meet the coming of war and the onset of the shadow. Also, we're already in the first sentence and I'm stopping, so sorry. The themes at the end of both chapters of at the end of both chapters of darkness and shadow going over the land is actually really interesting and dark. Like, they're not fighting in total darkness, but they're kind of fighting in darkness, which gives a totally new element to this that I don't think I really see in the movies that much. Maybe I do. I don't know. My feet are blurry in real life. Ooh, there's a new character introduced in this. Good. I love a good new character. Now all roads were running together to the east to meet the coming of war and the onset of the shadow. The shadow is capitalized. And even as Pippin stood at the great gate of the city and saw the Prince of Dol Amroth ride in with his banners, the king of Rohan came down out of the hills. Okay, so timing right there. Day was waning. In the last ray of the sun, the riders cast long pointed shadows that went on before them. Darkness had already crept beneath the murmuring fir woods that clothed the steep mountainsides. The king rode now slowly at the end of the day. Presently, the path turned round a huge bare shoulder of rock and plunged into the gloom of soft sighing trees. Down, down they went in a long winding file. When at last they came to the bottom of the gorge, they found that evening had fallen in the deep places. The sun was gone. Twilight lay upon the waterfalls. All day, far below them, a leaping stream had run down from the high pass behind, cleaving its narrow way between pine-clad walls. And now, through a stony gate, it flowed out and passed into a wider vale. The riders followed it. And suddenly, Harrowdale lay before them, loud with the noise of waters in the evening. Oh, that is one of the best noises. Water in the evening. I love it so much. Let me know, what is your guys' favorite sound? Maybe this is a weird question. What's your guys' favorite sound? Because there's a lot of good ones. All right, let's keep going. There the white snowborn, joined by the lesser streams, went rushing, fuming on the stones, down to Edoras and the great hills and the plains. Away to the right, at the head of the great dale, the mighty Starkhorn looped up above the vast buttress, swathed in cloud. But its jagged peak, clothed in everlasting snow, gleamed far above the world, blue-shadowed upon the east, red-stained by the sunset in the west. Is there any symbolism there? Gleamed far above the world, blue-shadowed upon the east, red-stained by the sunset in the west. Just description probably, but ooh, good sounds. Crackling fire. Boots on gravel is probably one of my favorites. Pavarotti, that's actually a great one. Rain as you're falling asleep, that's great. Purring kittens, something about purring kittens. The ocean from just within audible range is the best sound, where you can just hear the waves. Honestly, that is a top tier sound. Train passing, great fire. John Cage's 433, huh? What is that? Rain in the morning. Oh, rain on like a tin rooftop. Ooh, small waterfalls. The talk of a deer scare? What is that? All right, I'll look that song up later. The mechanical keyboard sound is kind of great. Okay. All right, here we go. Mary looked out in wonder upon this strange country, of which he had heard many tales upon their long road. It was a skyless world, in which his eye, through dim gulfs of shadowy air, saw only ever-mounting slopes, great walls of stone behind great walls, and frowning precipices wreathed with mist. Excuse me. He sat for a moment, half dreaming, listening to the noise of water, the whisper of dark trees, the crack of stone, and the vast waiting silence that brooded behind all sounds. He loved mountains, or he had loved the thought of them, marching on the edge of the stories brought from far away. But now he was borne down by the insupportable weight of Middle-earth. He longed to shut out the immensity in a quiet room by a fire. Huh. It's almost like he's having like a little, not like he's, I don't think he's having a panic attack, but darn it, I'm the same. Yeah, Dane, I'm the same exact thing. Ah. I feel that. I feel that, Mary. I feel that. Wow. That's one of the best feelings ever. Being in a quiet room by a fire, the crackling of a fire. He was very tired, for though they had ridden slowly, they had ridden with very little rest. Hour after hour, for nearly 3 weary days, he had jogged up and down, over passes and through long dales, and across many streams. Sometimes, where the way was broader, he had ridden at the king's side. That's cool. Not noticing that many of the riders smiled to see the two together. The hobbit on his little shaggy gray pony, and the Lord of Rohan on his great white horse. Then he had talked to Théoden, telling him about his home and the doings of Shire folk, or listening in turn to tales of the Mark and its mighty men of old. But most of the time, especially on this last day, Merry had ridden by himself just behind the king, saying nothing, and trying to understand the slow, sonorous speech of Rohan that he heard the men behind him using. It was a language in which there seemed to be many words that he knew, though spoken more richly and strongly than in the Shire. Yet he could not piece the words together. At times, some rider would lift up his clear voice in stirring song, and Merry felt his heart leap, though he did not know what it was about. All the same, he had been lonely, and never more so than now at the day's end. He wondered where in all this strange world Pippin had got to, and what would become of Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli. Then suddenly, like a cold touch on his heart, he thought of Frodo and Sam. I am forgetting them, he said to himself reproachfully. And yet they are more important than all the rest of us. And I came to help them, but now they must be hundreds of miles away, if they are still alive. He shivered. Ah, I love him so much. He's having a little existential crisis here, a little existential panic attack. Ooh, I will listen to that after the stream. I'll probably get doxxed if I listen to it now. I think it's homesickness. Yeah, I think it's homesickness. But at the same time, I think it's just loneliness, missing his friends. Probably not a panic attack, homesickness for sure. But he's definitely... Maybe there's an essay in Pippin's loneliness there. When he's doing a grand deed, sometimes that's when you feel loneliest. I was just telling someone this the other day. Here we go. We're jumping into a personal story about this. The first time I just told Lizzie this, I was having a conversation with her. The first time I ever felt truly lonely in my life. Like I felt alone before and I felt lonely, but like the first moment that it actually hit me was one of the coolest moments in my life when I was hiking Yellowstone. And I told the story, I think, on a video somewhere. And these wolves just kept popping out. And there was 9 wolves, and they were within like 30 yards of me. And they just popped out one by another, 9 of them. And they were super close to me on this ridgeline. And then they skirted up the ridgeline, and they ran away from me. And so I followed them because they're Yellowstone wolves, and they won't really hurt you. They probably would, but they run away from you. And I came back, and then there was a wolf that was coming straight at me, and he dodged. And that was the first time in my life. I think I made a video about this. The first time in my life, I actually felt lonely because I was like, I would love someone to share this moment with. And I feel like Pippin's kind of experiencing that right here. Like he's sitting here and he's going out to do a grand deed. He's literally talking to Théoden, but Something that's really interesting too is I think he feels lonely because he's not with his friends. But if he had companionship other than Théoden on this journey, then I don't know if he would feel lonely. I wish some of the riders saw him and would adopt him as like their buddy. They're just laughing. They're almost just like bullies. Now, I know it's like, it's maybe not harmful laughter, but I think it's harmful to Pippin because he's riding with the king and he feels like he's very important. Maybe not very important, but he at least has like a father figure that he's talking to. And then these riders come up and they laugh behind his back because they see this little pony riding with this big, glorious white horse of this king. And so he gets very like self-conscious, I'm sure. And that's why he's probably riding in the back of them. It's a bit sad. Ooh, okay. Yeah, after I finish this chapter, let's read that. That'll be the treat that we listen to that. I would love that actually. Poor Merry. Thinking of his buddy Pippin. Harrowdale at last, said Éomer. Our journey is almost at end. They halted. The paths out of the narrow gorge fell steeply, only by a glimpse, as through a tall window could be seen of the great valley in the gloaming below. A single small light could be seen twinkling by the river. This journey is over, maybe, said Théoden. But I have far yet to go. Last night the moon was full, and in the morning I shall ride to Edoras to the gathering of the mark. But if you would take my counsel, said Éomer in a low voice, you would then return hither until the war is over, lost or won. Huh. Théoden smiled. Nay, my son, for so I will call you. Speak not of the soft words of Wormtongue in my old ears. He drew himself up and looked back at the long line of men fading into dusk behind. Long years in the space of days it seems since I rode west. But never will I lean on a staff again. If the war is lost, what good will be my hiding in the hills? And if it is won, what grief will it be? Even if I fall, spending my last strength. But we will leave this now. Tonight I will lie in the hold of Dunharrow. One evening of peace, at least, is left us. Let us ride on. What a dope king. Oh, I love this guy. How good is Théoden? Oh my gosh. Théoden is amazing. I love that so much. Yeah, I'll probably mix up Pippin and Merry sometimes. Merry is right here. Pippin is in Gondor. Interesting that you interpret. So you would interpret them just smiling because they see such a good and kind sight. So it's like goodness. I feel like that could definitely be a good interpretation. Whatever may be in store for old John Delph. I'll make sure it isn't a wolf's belly. I'm glad that it didn't get eaten by the wolves. I think it is a cute picture, but I think Merry could probably misinterpret that. It is a really cute picture. I'd be like smiling and laughing because it is a cute picture. But how often do we misinterpret laughter that is harmless for laughter that is harmful? I think Merry could very easily think that is people making fun of him. Maybe insecurities going on there. I think so. They seem like class. Actually, the only reason why I would say that they're maybe potentially not that classy is because they do have clashes with Éomer in that chapter, in the Riders of Rohan. Not that they seem insubordinate, but they seem a little less mature than some of the men of Gondor. And I only know of Baragon, and he's like the most mature, dope dude ever. So, yeah, that's kind of true. All right, let's keep reading. And everyone like to stream. Get more people to watch this. Here we go. In the deepening dusk, they came down into the valley. Here the Snowborn flowed near to the western walls of the dale. And soon the path led them to a ford where the shallow waters murmured loudly on the stones. The ford was guarded. As the king approached, many men sprang up out of the shadows of the rocks. And when they saw the king, they cried with glad voices, "Théoden king! Théoden king! The king of the Mark returns!" Then one blew a long call on a horn. It echoed in the valley. Other horns answered it, and lights shone out across the river. And suddenly there rose a great chorus of trumpets from high above, sounding from some hollow place, as it seemed, that gathered their notes into one voice and sent it rolling and beating on the walls of stone. Ooh, that's a cool image. I would love to hear that. So the king of the Mark came back victorious out of the West Dunharrow, beneath the feet of the White Mountains. There he found the remaining strength of his people already assembled. For as soon as his coming was known, captains rode to meet him at the ford, bearing messages from Gandalf. Dunhir, chief of the folk of Harrowdale, was at their head. Dunhir? Dunhir? At dawn 3 days ago, Lord, he said, Shadowfax came like a wind out of the west to Edoras, and Gandalf brought tidings of your victory to gladden our hearts. But he brought also word from you to hasten the gathering of the riders. And then came the winged shadow. The winged shadow, said Théoden. We saw it also, but that was in the dead of night before Gandalf left us. Maybe, Lord, said Dunhir. Yet the same, or another like to it, a flying darkness in the shape of a monstrous bird passed over Edoras that morning. And all men were shaken with fear, for it stooped upon Meduseld. And as it came low, almost to the gable, there came a cry that stopped our hearts. Then it was that Gandalf counseled us not to assemble in the fields, but to meet you here in the valley under the mountains. And he bade us kindly he bade us to kindle no more lights or fires than barest need asked. So it has been done. Gandalf spoke with great authority. We trust that it is as you wish. Naught has been seen in Harrowdale of these evil things. It is well, said Théoden. I will ride now to the hold, and there, before I go to rest, I will meet the marshals and captains. Let them come to me as soon as may be. Thanks, Ruben. Yeah, I'm still a noob in my interpretations of this, but it's still fun to interpret out of the box. So something that I'm thinking, I have a question here. When Gandalf left with Pippin in the first chapter, did they see this ride over Edoras? I don't remember that. Did they go to Edoras in the last book? Sorry, I know this is 3 chapters ago. They spent a night at Edoras, but that was in the end of the Two Towers, correct? Does the Two Towers record that thing going by? I mentioned it very briefly. Interesting. I don't remember that. I wonder if that's the same or a different one. The 9 Riders. He recalls it in the first chapter of Return of the King. Yeah, that's right. He talks about it with Baragond because he has like PTSD about that thing. And they kind of feel like the spirit of that thing is going over. Well, I don't think it's really going over, but that was a weird section. They almost felt like just by saying the name itself, like those things just, they felt the presence of it. That's actually really creepy. I feel like there's an essay in that, but I'm already past that chapter. So that'll be on my second time read. All right, let's keep going. The road now led eastward straight across the valley, which was at that point little more than a half mile in width. Flats and meads of rough grass, gray now in the falling night, lay all about. But in front, on the far side of the dale, Mary saw a frowning wall, a last outlier of the great roots of the Starkhorn, cloven by the river in ages past. On all level spaces there was a great concourse of men. Some thronged to the roadside, hailing the king and the riders from the west with glad cries. But stretching away into the distance behind, there were ordered rows of tents and booths, and lines of picketed horses, and great stores of arms and piled spears bristling like thickets on new planted trees. Now all the great assembly was falling into shadow, and yet though the night chill blew cold from the heights, no lantern glowed, no fires were lit. Watchmen heavy cloaked paced to and fro. Mary wondered how many riders there were. He could not guess their number in the gathering gloom, but it looked to him like a great army, many thousands strong. While he was peering from side to side, the king's party came up under the looming cliff on the eastern side of the valley. And there, suddenly, the path began to climb. And Mary looked up in amazement. He was on a road, the like of which he had never seen before. A great work of men's hands in years beyond the reach of song. Upward it wound, coiling like a snake, boring its way across the sheer slope of rock. Steep as a stair, it looped backward and forward as it climbed. So is he talking about just switchbacks? Up it horses could walk, and wains could be slowly hauled. But no enemy could come that way except out of the air, if it was defended from above. At each turn of the road there were great standing stones that had been carved in the likeness of men, huge and clumsy-limbed, squatting cross-legged with their stumpy arms folded on fat bellies. Some in the wearing of the years had lost all features save the dark holes of their eyes that still stared sadly at passers-by. Dang, so this has been there for a while. The riders hardly glanced at them. The pukel men, they called them, and heeded them little. No power or terror was left in them. But Mary gazed at them with wonder, and a feeling almost of pity as they loomed up mournfully in the dusk. Huh. Yeah, switchbacks described as Tolkien wants to describe them. There is mention of different ones at mountains here. Pukel. Who's Pukel? Tolkien does a good job of keeping intrigue at small little things. Like, because I'm reading this slow and like trying to not read into it, but like trying to get what I can out of it. Pippin seeing this and being like, and looking at this with like interest. Like he looks at them with wonder and feeling almost pity as they loomed up mournfully in the dusk. Like he attaches feelings to these things that people look at, which is such good writing. Not people always do that. Pukul? Interesting. Pukul. Pukul. Hopefully I won't botch it that much. The frog statues in BOTW. In what's BOTW? BOTW. Battle of the Worlds. I keep saying Pippin. I'm sorry. Oh, Breath of the Wild. Thank you. Zelda. They seem like fun little guys. I'm gonna keep confusing Merry and Pippin. Sorry. I'll try to get them straight. After a while, he looked back and found that he had already climbed some 100 feet above the valley. But still far below, he could dimly see a winding line of riders crossing the ford and filing along the road toward the camp prepared for them. Only the king and his guard were going up into the hold. At last, the king's company came to a sharp brink, and the rocks-climbing road passed into a cutting between walls of rock, and so went up a short slope and out onto a wide upland. The Feld, men called it. A green mountain field of grass and heath, high above the deep-delved courses of the Snowbourn, laid upon the lap of the great mountains behind. The Starkhorn southward. The northwards, the saw-toothed mass of Irisanga. Between which there faced the riders, the grim black wall of the Dwemerberg, the haunted mountain, rising out of the steep slopes of somber pines, dividing the upland into two. There marched a double line of unshaped standing stones that dwindled into the dusk and vanished in the trees. Those who dared to follow that road came soon to the black Demolt under Dwemerberg, and the menace of the pillar stones and the yawning shadow of the forbidden door. The menace of the pillar of stones and the yawning shadow of the forbidden door. What's behind that door? Why is it the forbidden door? Tolkien has been being descriptive in this chapter. I think someone said in a video that I had that this was his least favorite chapter in book 4. This is the Paths of the Dead? No way. Hold on. Oh, so Éowyn is here. Interesting. I did not even piece that together. Ooh, I would love to see drawings of the Dunharrow. If you have any, drop them in the Discord because I would love to see that. So this is where Éowyn is then. So is she already here, just chilling with everyone else? And are they on top of that platform? So this is Dwemerberg. This is the Dwemerberg, okay. Or Dunharrow? Under Dwemerberg. Dwemerberg is a mountain. Is Dwemerberg the mountain? Help me out with Dwemerberg and Dunharrow. I'm getting confused on both of them. So Dwemerberg is the mountain. Dunharrow is another mountain, or just this area? Is this like the Dunharrow, this whole region? Or is this section the Dunharrow, like the switchbacks? Dunharrow is a super defensive refuge. It has the doors to the path of the dead and at the back of it. Okay. Interesting. So is there lore? There has to be lore about the armies of the dead. Were they staging a last defense on top of this thing, and then they just fled into the mountains in cowardice, and that's why they were cursed? Maybe not. I'm curious to read more about what happened with them. I want to know more. So Dunharrow is the valley or the fortress. Okay, I know it's in the appendix. Appendices. Berg is for mountain. Dunharrow for the fort. Okay. Harrowdale is the entire area, including the valley below. Perfect. Yeah, they worshipped Sauron at one point. That was a wild section. Okay, let's keep reading. Such was the dark Dunharrow, the work of long forgotten men. Their name was lost and no song or legend remembered it. For what purpose they had made this place, as a town or secret temple or tomb of the kings, none in Rohan could say. Here they labored in the dark years. I really want to know what's happening in those dark years. Before ever a ship came to the western shores, or Gondor of the Dunedain was built. And now they had vanished, and only the old Pukal men were left, still sitting at the turnings of the roads. Mary stared at the lines of marching stones. They were worn in black. Some were leaning, some were falling, some cracked or broken. They looked like rows of old and hungry teeth. He wondered what they could be, and he had hoped the king was not going to follow them into the darkness beyond. Then he saw that there were clusters of tents and booths on either side of the stony way. But these were not set near the trees, and seemed rather to huddle away from them toward the brink of the cliff. The greater number were on the right, where the Firienfeld was wider. And on the left there was a smaller camp, in the midst of which stood a tall pavilion. From this side a rider now came out to meet them, and they turned from the road. As they drew near, Mary saw that the rider was a woman. There she is, with long braided hair gleaming in the twilight. Yet she wore a helm, and was clad to the waist like a warrior, and girded with a sword. Let's go! She's back! Firienfeld. My pronunciation, guys. I even read that appendix, and my pronunciation still sucks. Ugh. Iceberg. Oh, okay, interesting. That actually helps. RIFO, so I can reveal more stuff. Truth. I think I have the Atlas of Middle-earth. No, I have the Atlas of Tolkien. I keep saying that. I have the Illustrated World of Tolkien, too, which is the Second Age. And then I have pictures by J.R.R. Tolkien. Firienfeld. Oh, Firienfeld. I've heard the Atlas is about outdated. But a bummer. Firienfeld, which means holy. Interesting. The holy field? What does feld mean? I feel like I hear that, but I don't know. Éowyn's back. Is she going to be... Okay, I literally... This essay is going to come out Thursday because I was thinking about Éowyn a lot. I don't think she actually loved Aragorn or wanted to be with Aragorn. Maybe this is a hot take. I think she was envious of Aragorn and wanted to be him, not be with him. You know what I mean? Yes, she loved the idea of Aragorn. But I don't think that she actually liked him. But I don't know if it's a crush necessarily. Like, it doesn't seem like a crush. It seems much more like she just wanted to be him. Like, she wasn't, like, she looked at Aragorn and I don't think she was like that. I don't think she had a heart fluttering. I think it was jealousy for what he was going to do. Yes. Ruben is just trying to shut everyone up. I won't read that many of the comments, but I'm gonna say this. I feel like she fell in love with the idealized version of Aragorn, not with who Aragorn actually is. She liked the idea of him because she was like, "Oh, with this guy, I get to march to battle and gain honor and renown." But I don't think that's necessarily what Aragorn wants. Aragorn needs Arwen, who loves Aragorn for who he is. Like, I think this is actually key in Aragorn's love relationship, that he had Arwen before he became king. Éowyn maybe just wants a piece of the meat because he's king and she might gain renown by being with the king. And also just because he's a kingly dude. Like, he's very regal and he's very brave. I'm curious how long him and Arwen have been together. Aragorn was probably brave before that, but Arwen seems to love. I know we barely know anything about Arwen. We barely know anything about Arwen. But just from the timeline of when they fell in love, it had to be before all this. And so it seems like they fell in love because Arwen genuinely loved this man for who he was. And man, how old is Arwen again? Arwen's what, 2,000, 3,000 years old? Sorry, ladies. It takes 3,000 years old. It takes 3,000 years to find a man. It takes 2,800 years to find a man like Aragorn. Bummer. Poor Arwen, though. Or poor Éowyn. I still love Éowyn as a character. I think she's right. I cannot wait to read the Aragorn Arwen story. I know I've heard it's in the appendices, so I'm pretty pumped for that. I've heard that in drafts that Tolkien actually had, he had them marrying each other, which is really interesting. I don't think they would be a good couple. I think they would actually get divorced after a while. I think after a while, Aragorn would want to just settle down and rule, and she wouldn't really like that. She's like, no, let's keep riding to battle. And Aragorn's like, I'm 80 something years, I'm 90 years old. Let me live the rest of my life in peace, woman. Wow. Oh, okay. I'm pumped to read it. I would very much like to cry for some Lord of the Rings sections. I have teared up. I actually did cry when I was thinking about the only moment that I actually really, really cried at this section. I did two, actually. When Sam had to give up Bill the pony at the Mines of Moria. And then when Gimli not pledged his love, but when he saw Galadriel for who she really was. That's not really a good description of it. When Galadriel saw Gimli for who he really was, and they united a bond between them. That is still one of my favorite moments of the entire series. Ugh. Elves can't divorce even when one of the couple dies? Dang! What is up with elven biology? Wow, divorce doesn't exist in the Legendarium, nor does premarital sex. Interesting. Is this all in the appendices? Catholicism exists in Middle-earth. All right, let's keep reading. Let's get to some Éowyn stuff here. And I'm not reading some of the comments because Ruben was very adamant that everyone be quiet and not spoil anything. All right, I'm gonna keep reading. Hail, Lord of the Mark, she cried. My heart is glad at your returning. And you, Éowyn, said Théoden. Is all well with you? Well, all is well, she answered. Yet it seemed to Merry that her voice belied her, and he would have thought that she had been weeping, if that could be believed of one so stern a face. It's interesting that she's constantly described as being so stern. I guess Miranda Otto does that okay, but it's a little shocking of a description. All is well. It was a weary road for the people to take, torn suddenly from their homes. There were hard words, for it is long since war has driven us from green fields. But there have been no evil deeds. All is now ordered as you see, and your lodging is prepared for you. For I have had full tidings of you, and knew the hour of your coming. So Aragorn has come then, said Éomer. Is he still here? No, he is gone, said Éowyn, turning away, and looking at the mountains dark against the east and the south. Whither did he go? Asked Éomer. I do not know, she answered. He came at night and rode away estermorn, ere the sun had climbed over the mountain tops. He is gone. Wes is mad that he's gone. You are grieved, daughter, said Théoden. What has happened? Tell me, did he speak of that road? He pointed away along the darkening lines of the stones toward the Dwemerberg. Of the paths of the dead? Yes, Lord, said Éowyn. And he has passed into shadow from which none have returned. I could not dissuade him. He is gone. Then our paths are sundered, said Éomer. He is lost. We must ride without him, and our hope dwindles. This is kind of sad. Little do they know what he's actually doing. I wonder if a little communication would have gone far in this, or if there needs to be the element of surprise here. I know Aragorn didn't have a full conversation with them before he left, but he could have just told them what he's doing. He's, hey guys, don't lose hope. I'm going to wrangle the army of the dead because I have the right to do that, and they're going to listen to me. And so we'll meet you on battle with an undefeatable army. Yeah, maybe they wouldn't have believed him. That's actually a good point. But it's still so interesting. Philip, I'm not that far into it. Maybe 3 pages? Yeah, 3 pages. 3 pages and like 6 to go. Yeah, around 6, 7 to go. Aragorn's working on mostly foresight without a clear plan. Interesting. Yeah, that kind of seems like it. It seems like he's just like trying out new things. The surprise is better. I agree. Oh, interesting. The Prince of Rohan. That's why they think Aragorn's dead. Interesting. I forgot about that little guy. Ooh, that's actually a great point. Aragorn maybe was a little doubtful that he could actually pull this off. So he didn't want to offer false hope. That's actually a really interesting point. Maybe he's going into this thinking more likely than not that he won't be able to wrangle them up. He did tell them, but like I guess they really didn't believe him in that moment. Slowly they passed through the short heath and upland grass, speaking no more until they came to the king's pavilion. There Merry found that everything was made ready, and that he himself was not forgotten. A little tent had been pitched for him beside the king's lodging, and there he sat alone, while men passed to and fro, going into the king and taking counsel with him. Night came on, and the half-seen heads of the mountain westward were crowned with stars. But the east was dark and blank. The marching stones faded slowly from sight. But still beyond them, blacker than the gloom, brooded the vast crouching shadow of the Dwemerberg. The paths of the dead, he muttered to himself. The paths of the dead? What does all this mean? They have all left me now. They have all gone to some doom. Gandalf and Pippin to war in the east, and Sam and Frodo to Mordor, and Strider and Legolas and Gimli to the paths of the dead. But my turn will come soon enough, I suppose. I wonder what they are all talking about, and what the king means to do. For I must go where he goes now. This is such a good Merry chapter. I love that we're in Merry's head. I don't think we've been in Merry's head yet. This is the first time we're in Merry's perspective, right? I think it is. A desire for joining the fight. Yeah, most of Fangorn is told from Pippin's perspective. And the previous one, maybe there's a brief one in Fellowship of the Ring. Maybe a conspiracy mask slightly told from his perspective. Yeah, this is a great Merry chapter. I love this one. This is really good. In the midst of these gloomy thoughts, he suddenly remembered that he was... I love this. I love Hobbit so much. In the midst of these gloomy thoughts, he suddenly remembered that he was very hungry. And he got up to go and see if anyone else in this strange camp felt the same. But at that moment, a trumpet sounded. And a man came summoning him, the king's esquire, to wait at the king's board. Huh. Are they just going to have a meal, or... Pippin would not have forgotten if he was hungry. Yep. That's so funny. In the inner part of the pavilion was a small space, curtained off with broidered hangings, and strewn with skins. And there at a small table sat Théoden, with Éomer and Éowyn and Dunhir, Lord of Harrowdale. Merry stood beside the king's stool and waited on him, till presently the old man, coming out of the deep thought, turned to him and smiled. "Come, Master Meriadoc," he said. "You shall not stand. You shall sit beside me, as long as I remain in my own lands, and lighten my heart with tales." Room was made for the hobbit at the king's left hand, but no one called for any tale. There was indeed little speech, and they ate and drank for the most part in silence, until at last, plucking up courage, Merry asked the question that was tormenting him. "Twice now, Lord, I have heard of the paths of the dead," he said. "What are they? And where has Strider, Lord Aragorn, where has he gone?" Bold hobbit. The king sighed. Here's an interesting question. How many of you, if you were in Merry's perspective and you were sitting in silence at the king's table, would pluck up the courage to ask this question? I love his boldness. Merry and Pippin are bold, but Merry has maybe I'll talk about this when I finish this chapter, but maybe some of the differences between Merry and Pippin. They're both so unique, but they're both very similar in ways. I really love Merry. He's a great little hobbit. The king sighed, but no one answered until at last Éomer spoke. "We do not know, and our hearts are heavy," he said. "But as for the paths of the dead, you have yourself walked on their first steps. Nay, I speak no words of ill omen. The road that we have climbed is the approach to the door, yonder in the dim hold. But what lies beyond no man knows." "No man knows," said Théoden. "Yet ancient legend, now seldom spoken, has somewhat to report. If these old tales speak true, that have come down from father to son in the house of Eorl, then the door under Dwymberberg leads to a secret way that goes beneath the mountains to some forgotten end. But none have ever ventured in to search its secrets, since Baldur, son of Brago." Did they take a character and just make him a horse? Is Brago the horse is not in this, or they literally just took a character that is Brago and they made him a horse? That deserves an essay. I'm gonna have an arrow that is pointing to the horse and go, this is actually a man in the book. Brago the horse. That's so funny. They use the name for the horse in the movies. Baldur, son of Brago. I love that. I'm 100% going to write an essay about Meriadoc. Yeah, this is good. This is definitely a Merry chapter. A Merry chapter. Yeah, I talked about a Merry chapter and his desire for joining the fight. It's a really beautiful thing. And that's a great line. He has like FOMO right now. You know what would be really fun? I'm sure people have done this. 100% people have done this. But classifying what all these characters Myers-Briggs would be, or classifying what each of their like enneagrams would be. I actually think that'd be so interesting to see that. Like even more than, because I made the video of sorting them into houses. I feel like learning their Myers-Briggs would actually be so fascinating. Maybe that'd be a fun video. I love that there's Brago the man in this. That's great. It's a good horse name too. It is a gloomy Merry chapter, but at the same time, it provides insight into his character that is really rich and really interesting. Like he has fear of missing out, but it's not necessarily fear of missing out. It's something deeper than that. It's wanting to do his part. And I actually think that's very beautiful. I don't think that it's that somber or that sad. It's like he's sitting there going, honestly, the movies do have a good depiction of that. When he goes, all my friends have gone off to battle. I'd be ashamed if, I had to stay behind. I'm actually curious if Théoden is going to tell him he has to stay behind here, or if it's going to go like the movies go. Sauron is INTJ. Why do you say that? Merry is a very different character from Pippin, and you like Merry better? Interesting. I'll probably say I like Pippin more, but that's probably because he's been more present in the story. Maybe after this chapter, I'll really love Merry. Good. We'll talk about this more at the end. Deal. Where am I? Oh, Brago with Brago. Passed the door and was never seen among men. Let me reread that sentence. But none have ever ventured into search its secrets, since Baldur, son of Brago, passed the door and was never seen among men again. A rash vow he spoke as he drained the horn at the feast which Brago made to hallow new-built Meduseld, and he came never to the high seat of which he was the heir. Folk say that the dead men, or folk say that dead men out of the dark years guard the way and will suffer no living man to come to their hidden halls. But at whiles they may themselves be seen passing out of the doors like shadows and down the stony road. Then the people of Herodel shut fast their doors and shroud their windows and are afraid. But the dead come seldom forth, and only at times of great unquiet and coming death. Interesting. They're like poking their noses out to see what's going on. Yeah, Myers-Briggs doesn't have any evidence. But it's based on Jung, and Jung is my favorite. He's my favorite psychologist. Let's keep reading. Yeah, it is said in Harrowdale, said Éowyn in a low voice, that In the moonless nights, but little while ago, a great host in strange array passed by. Whence they came, none knew. But they went up the stony road and vanished into the hill, as if they went to keep a tryst. Interesting. Are the people of Harrowdale rumoring seeing Aragorn pass by with them, or yet it is said in Harrowdale, said Éowyn in a low voice, that in the moonless nights, oh no, moonless nights. Okay, so this is a long time ago. This is like a month ago. But little while ago, a great host in strange array passed by. Whence they came, none knew. But they went up the stony road and vanished into the hill, as if they went to keep a tryst. Wait, this is the Grey Company? But why is it a moonless night? Oh, moonless night because it's a cloudless night? I was thinking a new moon. Or a cloudy night, I mean. Yeah, hold on. So, okay, so if I interpret this as a cloudy night, then it probably is the Grey Company. But a moonless night feels more like a new moon to me. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm almost there with you, Ruben. I feel like this is a sighting of the actual dead. Or who else would this be? This is a wild thought. This is a wild thought. Could it possibly be that Sauron sent orcs up here to attempt to go fetch the dead army? No, because they can't answer to him. They swore an oath to a seal door. Yeah, that's wrong. Okay, screw that. I was excited for a second, but that's not true. You think it was the dead. The Grey Company is not a great host. Yeah, they're not a great host, and they're not that strangely arrayed. A great host, but a little while ago, a great host in strange array passed by. Whence they came, none knew. That's another thing. People knew where Aragorn, and maybe they didn't know where the Grey Company came, but Éowyn knew, and Éowyn's the one that's saying this. I don't think this is the Grey Company, because if Éowyn was speaking this, but she's speaking about rumors that are happening in Dunharrow, I don't think this is the Grey Company. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. But maybe it was just, maybe they just snuck in. Probably not, but you never know. I feel like it was the dead. I'm going to go with that this was the dead. The dead army. I don't know, though. Yeah, so she is telling it as they're telling it. I agree with you. She's listening to the rumors. So maybe it could be the Grey Company, and she's just kind of like, huh, it's interesting. I don't know. It's a weird little section. Tolkien likes the phrase, some say. Son of a gun. Honestly, it is kind of creepy that they're just kind of wandering about. You read it as the army of the dead, as the dead folk were not only in underground passages, but all over the mountains. As they gathered, the thing started to get worse. hoping it's time. Interesting. I kind of feel like that's my reading as well. It feels more like the Army of the Dead. Orca. It's a great typo. A bunch of orca come out. Yeah, I'm probably with you in that one. All right, let's keep reading. Then why has Aragorn gone that way? Asked Mary. Don't you know anything that would explain it? Unless he has spoken words to you as his friend that we have not heard, said Éomer. None now in the land of the living can tell his purpose. Greatly changed he seemed to me since I saw him first in the king's house, said Éowyn. Grimmer, older, fey I thought him, and like one whom the dead call. There's that word again, fey. That's a creepy description. Huh. It is such a cool word. Maybe he was called, said Théoden, and my heart tells me that I shall not see him again. Yet he is a kingly man of high destiny. And take comfort in this, daughter, since comfort you seem to need in your grief for this guest. It is said that when the Eorlingas come out of the north and pass at length up the Snowbourn, seeking strong places of refuge in time of need, Brago and his son Baldur climbed the stair of the hold and so came before the door. On the threshold sat an old man, aged beyond guess of years. Tall and kingly he had been, but now he was withered as an old stone. Indeed, for stone they took him, for he moved not, and he said no word until they sought to pass him by and enter. And then a voice came out of him, as if it were out of the ground. And to their amaze, it spoke in the western tongue. The way is shut. Then they halted and looked at him and saw that he lived still, but he did not look at them. The way is shut. His voice said it again. It was made by those who are dead, and the dead keep it until the time comes. The way is shut. And when will that time be? Said Baldur. But no answer did he ever get. For the old man died in that hour and fell upon his face, and no other tidings of the ancient dwellers in that mountain have our folk ever learned. Yet maybe at last the time foretold has come, and Aragorn may pass. Whoa! Wait, the last member of the... No way. That's actually so cool. I thought for a second this was going to be the skeleton that was in the chamber that was trying to get into the door. But this being the last living member of the Men of the Dead is crazy. That is a creepy story. Oh, Baldur or Brago is the skeleton? That makes sense. I think this means that the dead men were already dead when the Rohirrim first came to this land. You had questions about them before, and I just had to wait until you got here to say anything. Good, I'm glad. That's interesting. I have been wanting to know like the history of that and what is going on there. Because when Rohan was installed as a nation of Rohan, or the Rohirrim were marching, and when this was given to them for Gondor, and when the dead men. I want to know the correlation between all that, but I just don't fully know that yet. They dwindled over after Isildur's curse. Did he curse generations of them, or did he curse just the people who were alive, just the soldiers? All right, FO. Baldur or Brago? It might be either of them. We'll see. He cursed their whole civilization. Dang. That is extreme. Well, that sucks. Sucks for everyone. So, dang. There's a lot of them there then. And so never say himself in the high seat at Meduseld. They almost got Gondor killed because they're there. I want to know more about them. I want to know what's happening in the Dark Ages, or the Dark Days, or the Dark Years. Interesting. All right, let's keep reading. Also, throw a like on the stream. Just for me. That's creepy. This is creepy that this guy says this like this way. That it's not just read by Legolas. It's read by this stone man. But how shall a man discover whether that time be come or no, save by daring at the door? Daring at the door? Does that you just mean like going forth in the door? Said Éomer. And that way I would not go, though all the hosts of Mordor stood before me, and I were alone and had no other refuge. Alas, that a fey mood should fall upon a man so great-hearted in this hour of need. Are there not evil things enough abroad without seeking them under the earth? War is at hand. He paused, for at that moment there was a noise outside, a man's voice crying the name of Théoden, and the challenge of the guard. Legolas is clueless about everything outside his forest. It's kind of true. He doesn't know anything outside of Mirkwood, and he's been alive for thousands of years. Presently the captain of the guard thrust aside the curtain. A man is here, Lord, he said. An errand rider of Gondor. He wishes to come before you at once. Let him come, said Théoden. A tall man entered, and Merry choked back a cry. For a moment it seemed to him that Boromir was alive again and had returned. Oh, what a little PTSD moment here. That's sad that Merry had to endure this. Because he was the one that essentially saw him die. Sad. Then, for a moment it seemed to him that Boromir was alive again and had returned. Then he saw that it was not so. The man was a stranger, though as like to Boromir as if he were one of his kin, tall and gray-eyed, and proud. He was clad as a rider with a cloak of dark green over a coat of fine mail. On the front of his helm he wrought a small silver star. In his hand he bore a single arrow, black-feathered, and barbed with steel, but the point was painted red. He sank on one knee and presented the arrow to Théoden. Hail, Lord of the Rohirrim, friend of Gondor, he said. Here gone I am. Here gone, errand rider of Denethor, who bring you who bring you this token of war. Gondor is in great need. Often the Rohirrim have aided us, but now Lord Denethor asks for all your strength and all your speed, lest Gondor fall at last. The red arrow, said Théoden, holding it, as one who receives a summons long expected and yet dreadful when it comes. Dang, so this thing isn't used that often. So this is the real beacon. I'm sure they probably have this in like a glass case, and it's like the big red button under the glass case. They only take this out when need is dire. There it is. The red arrow has not been seen in the mark in all my years. Has it indeed come to that? And what does the Lord Denethor reckon that all my strength and all my speed may be? That is best known to yourself, Lord, said Hurgon. But ere long, it may well come to pass Minas Tirith is surrounded. And unless you have the strength to break a siege of many powers, the Lord Denethor bids me to say that he judges that the strong arms of the Rohirrim would be better within his walls than without. I mean, he's kind of got a point there. Rohan, send dudes. Yeah, break in case of emergency. The Rohirrim didn't show up until after the stewards took over Gondor. A couple thousand years after Isildur cursed the Oathbreakers. That's crazy. So like this entire civilization had to die off. And did they all become these ghost people? That's pretty dark. The fertilizer has been hit the ventilator. Yeah, I kind of feel like Denethor... Actually, I don't know. These are the riders that they passed in the first chapter. Interesting. Are they going to any other nation other than Rohan? Is there any other people that I should know about? This red arrow is really cool. I'm going to write an essay about this. Like, are they sending a red arrow to Lothlorien? Are they sending a red arrow to the Shire? Imagine a bunch of hobbits come marching and fighting. Are they sending it up north to the Rangers or to Mirkwood? That would be a long journey. That would be way too long of a journey. I mean, if it took Boromir 110 days to get to Rivendell, I think the siege would be long over after 110 days. So it's only Rohan. Interesting. I mean, that makes sense. Interesting. The red arrow. But he knows that we are a people who fight rather upon horseback and in the open, and that we are also a scattered people, and time is needed for the gathering of our riders. Is it not true, Hurgon, that the Lord of Minas Tirith knows more than he sets he sets in his message? For we are already at war, as you may have seen, and you do not find us all unprepared. Gandalf the Grey has been among us, and even now we are mustering for battle in the east. What the Lord Denethor may know or guess of all these things I cannot say, answered Hurgon. But indeed our case is desperate. My lord does not issue any command to you. He begs you only to remember old friendship and oaths long spoken, and for your own good to do all that you may. I don't like that last part. I really don't like that last part. That seems a little bit like a threat. Again, anything that Denethor touches feels a little grimy to me. I feel like the combination of the red arrow and the beacons would be cool. But indeed, our case is desperate. My lord does not issue command to you. He begs you only to remember old friendship. He's like pleading for old friendship and oaths long spoken, and for your own good to do all that you may. He means do what's in your best interest, not in my best interest. Gondor falls, there will be no stopping the tide. Agree with that. For sure agree with that. To me, it seems like he's kind of suggesting if you don't come and help us after we defeat these orcs, we're coming for you. And we're taking back our land. To some extent, I feel like it's like a veiled threat. Maybe very, very veiled. Actually, I mean, the better reading, that was my first reading. Now that I'm like thinking through this, I think it really just does mean, and for your own good, do all that you may. Come fight with us so that we can defeat these people together. Yeah, that's probably the right reading. But initially, I thought that was more of a threat. Interesting. It is reported to us that many kings have ridden in from the east to the service of Mordor. From the north to the field of Daggerlad, there is a skirmish and rumor of war. In the south, the Haradrim are moving, and fear has fallen on all our coastlands, so that little help will come to us thence. Make haste. For it is before the walls of Minas Tirith that the doom of our time will be decided. And if the tide be not stemmed there, then it will flow over the fair fields of Rohan, and even in the hold among the hills there shall be no refuge. Dark tidings, said Théoden, yet no, not all unguessed. But say to Denethor that even if Rohan itself felt no peril, still we would come to his aid. But we have suffered much loss in our battles with Saruman the traitor, and we must still think of our frontier to the north and east, as his own tidings make clear. So great a power as the Dark Lord seems to now wield might well contain us in a battle before the city, and yet strike with great force across the river away beyond the gate of the kings. But we will speak no longer counsels of prudence. We will come. The weapon take was set for the morrow. When all is ordered, we will set out. 10,000 spears I might have sent riding over the plain to the dismay of all your foes. It will be less now, I fear, for I will not leave my strongholds all unguarded. Yet 6,000 at the least shall ride behind me. For say to Denethor that in his hour the king of the Mark himself will come down to the land of Gondor, though maybe he will not ride back. Dude, Théoden is the best. I love Théoden. He's like 6,000 of my men are coming. And tell Denethor I'll meet him on the battlefield. To fight with him, not fight against him. That the king of the Mark himself will come down to the land of Gondor, though maybe he will not ride back. What a good section. Oakleaf, welcome. We still have like 3-4 pages left. I'll still be here for like 45 minutes probably. It's a great section right here. Yeah, he is really great. Théoden is awesome here. But it is a long road, and man and beast must reach the end with strength to fight. A week it may be from tomorrow's morn, ere you hear the cries of the sons of Eorl coming from the north. A week, said Hirgon. If it must be so, it must. But you are like to find only ruined walls in 7 days from now, unless other help unlooked for comes. Still, you may at least disturb the orcs and swarthy men from their feasting in the White Tower. At the least we will do that, said Théoden. But I myself am new come from battle and long journey, and I will now go to rest. Tarry here this night. Then you shall look on the muster of Rohan and ride away with gladder. Ride away the gladder for the sight, and the swifter for the rest. In the morning counsels are best, and night changes many thoughts. So Théoden's a morning person. It's great. Théoden is so good. I know, good. These chapters are long. I like long chapters, to be honest. With that, the king stood up, and they all rose. Go now, each to your rest, he said, and sleep well. And you, Master Meriadoc, I need no more tonight. But be ready to my call as soon as the sun is risen. I will be ready, said Merry, even if you bid me ride with you on the paths of the dead. I love Merry. Speak not words of omen, said the king, for they may be roads that one could bear the name, or for they may be more roads than one that could bear that name. But I did not say that I would bid you to ride with me on any road. Good night. Ah, he's actually going to tell him that he has to stay behind. That's a bit of a bummer. I know he means well there, but little does he know of the ferocity of hobbits. That's kind of sad to me, especially after Merry says that beautiful line. That's such a bummer. I was kind of hoping it was going to be different in the book. That kind of sucks. I mean, I don't know what he's going to say in the morning, but like this line of Merry, be ready to my call as soon as the sun is risen. As soon as the sun is risen. I will be ready, said Merry, even if you bid me ride with you on the paths of the dead. Like Merry is ready to go fight with this king wherever he's going to go. That's who you want by your side. That is who you want by your side. I know you want like good warriors, but I'd rather have someone loyal who will go through a brick wall with me if I want to go through a brick wall than have the greatest warrior. Actually, maybe I'd probably rather have the greatest warrior, but any average warrior, I'd rather have Merry at my side. That's kind of a bummer. All right, let's keep reading. I won't be left behind to be called on for return, said Merry. I won't be left, I won't. And repeating this over and over again to himself, he fell asleep at last in his tent. He was wakened by a man shaking him. Wake up, Master Holbeitla. Huh? Master Holbeitla? Is that the Rohan name for Merry? He cried, and at length Merry came out of deep dreams and sat up with a start. It still seemed very dark, he thought. Holbeitla? Hole builder? No way. Habitla. Hablita. That's great. That's so good. I love that. That is wonderful. Hmm. Hmm. All right, let's keep reading. Sorry, I got distracted. What does it matter? He asked. The king calls for you. But the sun has not risen yet, said Mary. No, and will not rise today, Master Hablita, nor ever again. One would think under this cloud, but time does not stand still, though the sun be lost. Make haste. Flinging on some clothes, Mary looked outside. The world was darkling. The very air seemed brown, and all things about were black and gray and shadowless. There was a great stillness. No shape of cloud could be seen, unless it were far away westward, where the furthest groping fingers of the great gloom still crawled onward, and little light leaked through them. Overhead there hung a heavy roof, somber and featureless, and light seemed rather to be failing than growing. Mary saw many folks standing, looking up and muttering. All their faces were gray and sad, and some were afraid. With a sinking heart he made his way to the king. Hirgon, the rider of Gondor, was there before him, and beside him stood now another man, like him, and dressed alike, but shorter and broader. As Mary entered, he was speaking to the king. It comes from Mordor, Lord, he said. Oh, the clouds, I'm guessing. It began last night at sunset. From the hills in the east fold of your realm, I saw it rise and creep across the sky. And all night as I rode, it came behind, eating up the stars. Now the great cloud hangs over all the land between here and the mountains of shadow. And it is deepening. War has already begun. Whew. Elvish word for hobbit. I could not answer that question. The day without a dawn. This is terrifying for sure. Terrifying stuff. I need to write an essay about the failing of songs. You know how many songs were in the beginning of this? And there's no more songs or tales anymore. There seems like there's one up here. The music of men's voices. That's why I'm talking about this, because they're finally singing a song. And I feel like we haven't heard a song in, feels like months since we started. Things are getting more serious. There's less time for songs. Someone on YouTube had to write an essay on that. That's probably a fascinating one. I wish I could sing. Well, I'll try to sing the last song or the next song. We'll try to put it to a little tune. Maybe I'll do that. All right, let's keep going. We have a page till we get there, so that's probably like a half hour. For a while, the king sat silent. At last, he spoke. So we come to it in the end, he said. The great battle of our time, in which many things shall pass away. But at least there is no longer need for hiding. We will ride the straight way, in the open road, and with all our speed. The muster shall begin at once, and wait for none that tarry. Have you good store in Minas Tirith? For if we must ride now in all haste, then we must ride light, with but meal and water enough to last us into battle. We have very great store long prepared, answered Hirgon. Ride now as light and swift as you may. Then call the heralds, Éomer, said Théoden. Let the riders be marshaled. Ooh, I'm kind of getting the chills a little bit here. Yeah, good store of mustard. I know Rob Inglis sang those, but he was musically gifted. Can you sing, Master Hobbit? Yeah, Circus was not a good singer. I should sing it in the tune of Genie in the Bottle. That'd be great. That'd actually be hilarious. Éomer went out, and presently the trumpets rang in the hold, and were answered by many others from below. But their voices no longer sounded clear and brave as they had seemed to Mary the night before. Dull they seemed, and harsh in the heavy air, braying ominously. The king turned to Mary. Ah, this is going to hurt. I know this is going to hurt me. I am going to war, Master Meriadoc, he said. In a little while I shall take the road. Ah, no! I release you from my service, but not from my friendship. Oh, that is so crushing. That's so sad. And the way he says it makes it even sadder. Because the first half of that sentence, I was about to knock Théoden down a few rungs. But then he goes, I release you from my service, but not from my friendship. Oh, this hurts so much. Oh, come on. No. You shall abide here, and if you will, you shall serve the Lady Éowyn, who will govern the folk in my stead. But, Lord, Mary stammered, I offered you my sword. I do not want to be parted from you like this, Théoden King. And as all my friends have gone to battle, I should be ashamed to stay behind. But we ride on horses tall and swift, said Théoden. And great though your heart be, you cannot ride on such beasts. Then tie me on the back of one, or let me hang on a stirrup or something, said Mary. It is a long way to run, but run I shall if I cannot ride, even if my feet wear off and arrive weeks too late. This is so sad. I love Mary. Oh. Guys, I think I like Mary more than I like Pippin right now. I love Pippin. This is such a good Mary chapter. Shoot. This is so sad. Some of the appendices reflect Mary's bits of the Red Book. What do you mean? Hobbits are the best. Oh, Hobbits are seriously the best. Like, I fully understand why they can carry the ring. They are so wonderful. They are the greatest race in all of Middle-earth. The only person that I would probably prize above hobbits is Gimli, because I love Gimli with everything in me. But Gimli seems like he's like an anomaly among the dwarves, to be honest. Is a universe copy of The Lord of the Rings, and The Hobbit as written by Bilbo and Frodo. Oh, the in-universe copy of a... Oh, interesting. Mary canonically wrote one of the appendices. That is glorious. I'm pumped to read this now. Trig, that is such a good point because both of them are being great in this chapter. And it just hurts all the more because they're beautiful in their friendship with each other and in their heartbreak. Honestly, Théoden would probably love to have Mary by his side still. But he knows that he can't do it. And he's trying to protect him here to some extent. Oh. This hurts. This is a painful conversation, though. It's like actually painful for me to keep reading this. Shoot. That line that he gives. Then tie me on the back of one, or let me hang on a stirrup or something. Said Mary. It is a long way to run, but run I shall if I cannot ride, even if my feet wear off and I arrive weeks too late. Théoden smiled. Rather than that, I would bear you with me on Snowmane, he said. But at the least you shall ride with me to Edoras, and look on Medusild, for that way I shall go. So far Staiba can bear you. Staiba's his horse, right? The great race will not begin till we reach the plains. Then Éowyn rose up. Come now, Meriadoc, she said. I will show you the gear that I have prepared for you. They went out together. Ooh, are they going to plan right here? This request only did Aragorn make to me, said Éowyn, as they passed among the tents, that you should be armed for battle. I have granted it as I could, for my heart tells me that you will need such gear ere the end. Is she lying? Did that actually happen? Staiba is Mary's pony. Okay, thank you. That's the pony. I like her craftiness. So this is a lie, but I kind of like her craftiness in doing this. She's smart. She's off to battle. She's off to win renown for herself. Staiba and Bill, the two best beasts in this book. Oh, I love this. Staiba is Swedish for short. It's Mary's pony. That's a great little tip or tidbit right there. So Éowyn is lying here, correct? Like she's not correct in saying this because I don't think Aragorn said this. But it would make sense that Aragorn would say this. Aragorn knows this. Hold on. I am faintly remembering something. I just had like a flashback. Wasn't Aragorn said something in the last chapter? Didn't he say something about Merry or Pippin? About how like strong they are? Or did Baragon? Baragon had something about... No, Baragon didn't say something about hobbits because he didn't know about hobbits. I feel like I'm thinking of something. He talked about Merry to Halbarad. That's right. What did he say, though? Thank you, Haley. That's what it is. I'm like having flashbacks on that conversation. About Armin. I don't remember anything about... Yeah. Honestly, this could be a fascinating essay. Is she lying? Does the text prove that she's lying or not? Like, is there hidden implication in some of the text? Because he says something, doesn't Aragorn say something to Halbarad about like the fortitude of hobbits, about how Merry or Pippin has been through more than most other people know? Yeah, it was worthwhile to defend the Shire. I remember that. Oh, Gandalf said this to someone. Gandalf said this Oh, as they were coming through the gate, right? Because Pippin was kind of half asleep when he said that. And he said that this hobbit has been through more than you can imagine or something like that. I think that's the line I was thinking of. So it might be true, but it's not mentioned in the text. I feel like it actually wouldn't be true because I think Aragorn and Éowyn's... I feel like every single word that was said between the two of them when they were together was recorded in that chapter. That's just what my feelings were on that. Like, I feel like they didn't say anything apart from that because the conversations were just so quick and, like, snappy. You know what I mean? Yeah, Pippin is a valiant man. That's right. Interesting. Ah, this is so good, guys. This is so good. Oh, I love this. But it also breaks my heart. I love this, but it hurts so much. Now she led Mary to a booth among the lodges of the King's Guard, and there an armorer brought out to her a small helm, and a round shield, and other gear. No mail have we to fit you, said Éowyn. Hold on, I want to write a note here because I want to write an essay on this. Is she lying? Maybe just Interesting. She wants Mary to join in the army for reasons you'll learn in a later chapter. I want to know it now. She lied to the armorers because they prepared it. Interesting too. Yeah, that's actually a great point. They may have had other words in passing, but I feel like weirdly I feel like maybe I don't know, maybe they did. The only reason why I would say that they weren't was because their words, when they actually spoke, were so emotionally charged that if I get in a conversation with someone else, it's hard to have like passing words. Like Aragorn wouldn't necessarily go to her and be like, "Hey, by the way, I just rejected your pseudo love of me, but can you make sure Mary is prepared for war?" You know, I feel like he would literally just go to the armorers and be like, "Hey, there's gonna be a hobbit coming in. He's about like 3'5". Make him some armor." Maybe it was Tolkien's way of telling us that Aragorn requested it. I don't know. If he did request it, he must have requested it in the very beginning of this conversation, because everything else was too emotional after that. Yeah, maybe the group councils. Actually, that's probably a good point. He probably said it then. Honestly, that's probably true. And she just kind of overheard it or something like that. Yeah, that's probably how it went down, actually. That makes the most sense. I'm kind of with you, though, Aquila. I kind of still feel like it's a little bit lying. Blues and patches. I don't think she was lying. More likely a side conversation not recorded. Maybe. Trick, you get me on that one though? It feels like any other side, like I don't think it would be a side conversation between Aragorn and Arwen alone. It would have to be in some like group setting. Like when they were sitting down and having dinner, the only issue that I have with that is after Aragorn, it had to happen before they were talking about where Aragorn was headed. Hold on, let me scan the last chapter real quick because I want to talk about this one section. Because I was just reading this today, or rereading this today and looking at it. Because well, as soon as they get there, so it says, Lady Éowyn greeted them and was glad of their coming, for no mightier men had she seen than the Dunedain, the fair sons of Elrond. But on Aragorn, most of all, her eyes rested. So this is where it is. This is the only place that logically, to me, it could have happened. And when they sat and supped with her, they talked together. That's the only section that it could potentially happen. because this is what happens after it. And she heard of all that had passed since Théoden rode away, concerning which only hasty tidings had yet reached her. And when she heard of the battle for Helm's Deep and the great slaughter of their foes and of the charge of Théoden and his knights, her eyes shone. I love that her eyes shone there. So I think that would be the only occurrence where it potentially would happen, because everything that happens after, because she says this, but at last she said, Lords, you are weary and shall go now to your beds with ease, but tomorrow fair housing shall be found for you. And then Aragorn says, no, we're going, we have to ride on somewhere else. She smiled. It was kindly done. And then Aragorn tells him where it is. Nothing after that can happen because the conversations are just too emotionally charged. Because when all this happens, it mentions that after he says, tomorrow I shall ride by the paths of the dead, it goes, then she stared at him as one that is stricken, and her face blanched. And for long she spoke no more, while all sat silent. So all are sitting in silence at this. Maybe a red herring? I don't know. Yeah, that's true. I literally have to read the whole story. It is still fun to theorize on things, even though I don't read the whole chapters. I just like breaking up my thoughts and just thinking, live processing my ideas with you guys. Come on. Okay, let's keep reading then. Fine. Ruin my fun. Sarah, what's up? When Mary swears to Théoden, it is mentioned that he has no armor. Oh, interesting. It can very well be that Aragorn had requested before all of the emotional conversation. That's probably the best. That's probably the most logical explanation right there. Yes, this is all about Mary's armor. I'm off on like a 20-minute tangent about this. Yeah, it makes sense. But it still is interesting that she would potentially lie for this. It tells a lot. It tells maybe a little bit about the character of Éowyn, that she would lie slightly about this. All right. Let's keep reading. No mail we have to fit you, said Éowyn, nor any time for the forging of such a hauberk. But there is also a stout jerkin of leather, a belt, and a knife. A sword you have. Merry bowed, and the lady showed him the shield, which was like the shield that had been given to Gimli, and it bore on it the device of the white horse. Take all these things, she said, and bear them to good fortune. Farewell now, Master Meriadoc. Yet maybe we shall meet again, you and I. Oh, that seems ominous, Éowyn. That seems real ominous. She's essentially like, Mary, wear this when you sleep. Wear this everywhere you go, because maybe we're going to meet again. I feel like this book, the book and the movie actually match up pretty well on this, with the exception of the Red Arrow. But like the location of this place in the books is actually pretty good. Or in the movies, I mean. So it was amid a gathering gloom, the king of the Mark made ready to lead all his riders on the eastward road. Hearts were heavy and many quailed in the shadows. But they were a stern people, loyal to their lord. And little weeping or murmuring was heard, even in the camp in the hold, where the exiles from Edoras were housed. Women and children and old men. Doom hung over them, but they faced it silently. That feels like the best description for the people of Rohan. They just face their problems silently. Craig, sorry you're a little late, but it's all right. We still have a page left, so it'll take me another little bit. We're told that the people of Rohan do not lie. Interesting. Aragorn, I actually literally the combination of Aragorn and Éowyn is such a good combination. They're both people who are on the outskirts. Like, no wonder why they ride together. Because literally everyone else that they love is left behind. And these two form some kind of camaraderie and some kind of unity because of that fact. It's actually really beautiful. Yeah, the switchbacks that are described in that and that are like portrayed are actually really good. Ruben, I love that you're just like holding your tongue right now. I don't know if the Dun Harrow is, I think, because they show it. Yeah, it's at least in the extended edition. They show it in a small way when they go up the thingy-majig, the switchbacks. I just watched that today because I was trying to find a thumbnail. I just took a screenshot. Okay, let's keep reading. 2 swift hours passed, and now the king sat upon his white horse, glimmering in the half-light. Proud and tall he seemed, though the hair that flowed beneath his high helm was like snow. And many marveled at him and took heart to see him unbent and unafraid. I love this. I love that he's unbent and unafraid. There, on the wide flats beside the noisy river, marshaled in many companies, well nigh 5 and 50 hundreds of riders, fully armed. 5 and 50 hundreds. Anybody want to do the math for me real quick on that? $5,500s. So 5,500. Okay. Thank you. Oh, that makes sense. Thank you. About 6K, about 5,500. Beautiful. Thank you. And many hundreds of other men with spare horses lightly burdened. A single trumpet sounded. The king raised his hand, and then silently the hosts of the mark began to move. Foremost went 12 of the king's householdmen, riders of renown. Then the king followed with Éomer in his right. He had said farewell to Éowyn above in the hold, and the memory was grievous. But now he turned his mind to the road that lay ahead. Behind him, Merry rode on Stibba, with the errand riders of Gondor. Hold on. Okay, and behind them again 12 more of the king's household. They passed down the long ranks of men waiting with stern and unmoved faces. But when they had come almost to the end of the line, one looked up, glancing keenly at the hobbit. A young man, Merry thought as he returned the glance, less in height and girth than most. He caught the glint of clear gray eyes, and then he shivered, for it came suddenly to him that it was the face of one without hope who goes in search of death. Oh, dang. And then he shivered, for it came suddenly to him that it was the face of one without hope who goes in search of death. It's my boy. I love that you go less than half of what I hope for. It's a great line. Wait, this kid's a dude? You guys know this dude? Is this is actual character? I thought this is just gonna be like a creepy kid that he looks at. All right, let's keep reading because apparently this kid's good. It's your favorite guy. It's your favorite character. All right, here we go. On down the gray road they went beside the snowbourne, rushing on its stones. Though the hamlets of the Under Harrow and Upbourne where many sad faces of women looked out from the dark doors. And so without horn or harp or music of men's voices, the great ride into the east began, with which the songs of Rohan were busy for many long lives of men thereafter. I should sing this, but I don't know if I can. From dark Dunharrow in the dim morning. I gotta get the rhythm of this. From dark Dunharrow in the dim morning, where Thane and Captain rode Thingol's son. I'm gonna sing it, but I don't know if I'm gonna be good. I don't have like a tune for it. Is this? Hold on. Let me do this. Does anybody sing this on YouTube that I could just hear a tune? Thank you, Berthillion. You're the best. Hold on. I gotta find this. I knew someone was gonna have it. The Concerning Hobbits tune. I don't know if I could sing it to that tune. From dark Dunharrow in the dim morning. No, it doesn't fit. Try the Tolkien ensemble version if you find it. Okay, hold on 1 second. We're really getting into this, guys. Yeah, I'm looking for Clamati de Profundis. Hold on, give me a second to find this little sucker. From dark Dunharrow. That was loud, sorry. Hopefully we don't get taken off. I gotta sing it like this. This is gonna be great. Hold on 1 second. I have to take my desktop audio off so I don't get demonetized. But I gotta just listen to this on my own. I'm gonna just play it for you for a quick second. Golden timbers wood in gloom and I don't know if I can sing it like that. This is gonna be great. Is this the BBC version? I'm not an opera singer. Gerard Manley Hopkins. Oh, I love that. I love him. He's the best poet ever. Maybe not ever. This is great, guys. This is so funny. I don't know if I can read. I don't know if I can sing it like this. I know that guy has some serious vocals. If this is the BBC one. Hold on, I'm gonna look up the BBC one. If this is different. You know what? I want to sing it. I want to sing it in the way that Pippin sings the song. Home is behind. It's like my favorite song in all of it. Why is that on there? So this is the BBC adaptation. Okay, interesting. Sing it to the Rohan theme. I need to sing it to the. Let's do the Rohan theme. Hold on 1 second. I got an ad. Okay, I'm gonna try it for that one. Let's give it a shot, guys. And I might have to like retry this. Maybe I'll make a video of just me trying this. It's gonna be bad. It's a long one too, actually. Well, not that long, but doesn't exactly fit with the Rohan theme because it's like one beat too many. Be like, from the dark Dunharrow in the dim morning. Like, it doesn't exactly fit, you know what I mean? But we're going to give it a shot anyway. All right, no one clip any of this. Whatever happens in this stream stays in this stream. I need some water. Yeah, how does Andy Serkis actually sing this? No promises, you're clipping it. The Edge of the Night is the walking song. Andy Serkis sings it badly. What else is new? That guy is not a singer. From the dark. All right, I'm just gonna. Okay, guys, I kind of have like a little bit of a tune. I am just going to sing it on my own without the Rohan song. I'm just gonna try this, and we're gonna see how this goes. All right, here we go. From dark dawn harrow in the dim morning. No, hold on, that wasn't it. I gotta find it again. I had a good tune for a second. From dark dawn harrow in the dim morning, with Thane and Captain rode Thengul's son. To Edoras, no, hold on. To Edoras he came, the ancient halls of the Mark Warden's mist. No, that doesn't work either. Hold on. Michael, perfect timing. I feel like I can't figure out a good tune for this. I need to... You know what I need to do? I need to go study this and make music for myself. Or I need like Ryan. Where's Ryan? Someone summon Ryan and tell him to make a beat for me about this. From dark dawn harrow in the dim morning, with Thane and Thapton rode Thengul's son. To Edoras he came, the ancient halls of the Mark Warden's mist enshrouded. That doesn't work. Golden timbers were in gloom mantled. Farewell he bade to his free people. Hearth and high seat in the hallowed places, where long he feasted. Feasted and fasted are two very different things. Where long he feasted ere the light faded. Forth rode the king, fear behind him. Fate before him felt he kept he. Oaths he had taken, all fulfilled them. Forth rode Théoden 5 nights and days. East and onward rode the Erlingas. Through fold and fen march and the firing wood. 6,000 spears to Sunlending. There's hard pronunciation here, guys. Munberg. My dog is literally sitting there looking at me like I'm crazy right now, too, by the way, guys. Munberg the mighty under Mindal Éowyn, Sea King city in the South Kingdom. Foe beleaguered, fire encircled. Doom drove them on, darkness took them. Horse and horsemen, hoof beats afar, sank into silence So the songs tell us. That was awful. Holy smokes, that was terrible. Moonberg is the name for Minas Tirith. That's good. You know what we're gonna do? I'm actually gonna kind of like I want to like listen to other people sing this, and then I'm gonna steal all their stuff. That was kind of fun though. I hope there's more songs. You know what I should do when I reread Michael, thank you. Wow. Oh, that was not good singing, but thank you. Yeah, I think it should be more of a ballad. I need to get the actual rhythm of the poem right. I did not get the rhythm of the poem or the meter of the poem right. Dude, Tolkien Rants, if you write a poem or a tune for that, I would be all into that. That was kind of fun. I want to try out with every song. Yes, if you have it, post that. That would actually be so good. Everyone, go subscribe to Tolkien Rant's channel because she's gonna make a song. I'm putting on the spot now. You gotta make a song and post that. That'd be so great. But that was kind of fun. I actually would love to sing. Because he sings "Home is behind, the world is ahead," right? I sang that in I think the very first video that I ever made about Lord of the Rings. I sang at the very end of that, "The road goes ever on and on." Although, hold up. Lana's here now. Lana, here's my question for you, Lana. Have you been listening the whole time, or did someone in the Books Club Discord tell you John is singing "Everyone Quick Quick Come"? That's so funny. My guess is the second. Oh, okay, Tolkien Rants. That's actually what I was gonna say. There is the June. I knew it. That's so funny. I know you guys too well. Yeah, Rob Inglis sings it really well. I've listened to a few of his songs. But so the road goes ever on and on. The one that I like, or I like the movie version of that, but I think they sing it in the animated version, and some kid sang it he did a TikTok song, cause he really loved it. And he made it unbelievable. He was like, "This is one of my favorite songs." I think someone adapted it. I don't know if it was from the animated movie or what it was from. I'll find it and throw it in the Discord because it's like one of my favorite songs that he just sang it in like a way that I had never heard it before. And it was so beautiful. Road goes ever on and on. I don't know. I gotta find that. I'll find that after I do this, and then we check Discord, and then post it somewhere. Oh, is someone saying it? I love that. Let me finish this reading, and then I'll actually play that because I would love to listen to that. That's pretty dope. I love that you just did that. That's so cool. Oh, Craig, thanks for the $9.99 without even a message. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, dude. You guys are the best. I love this. Oh, yeah, someone just posted this in the Discord about the song "The Road Goes Ever On and On," the Return to the King theme. Because I'll post the TikTok of it too. Oh, wait, Jess of the Shire actually sang? I've never heard her sing. Someone post that if you can, or just clip it or something like that. I just start every live stream with me singing. I wish I could sing good. That's one thing I really wish I could do. I wish I could dance, and I wish I could sing. Someone posted Tolkien's reading of it with a scene from the movie. Oh my gosh. I'm going to read it myself, but as soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to listen to that. Oh, man. All right, let's keep reading. Hold on one second. Let me answer a text real quick. This is a very important text. Um, I want to try to. Yeah, I really will find that thing on TikTok and send it in the Discord because I had that song stuck in my head for months because the kids sang it so good, and someone like did a duet with him, and it was just exquisite. It was so good. Yeah, well, if Jess of the Shire sings, I would love to hear her. I wish I had a good voice. And I wish I had a better tune for this. And I wish the ring had never come to me. No, I wish I had started live reads in the Fellowship of the Freaking Ring where there was a song every other page and I could have tried to sing all these tunes. It would have been really fun. Um, Nice. Thank you for posting the singing. I love this. Yeah, I mean, like some of the better singers actually say they can't sing, but they're actually pretty good. I'm one of those who really can't sing, and I'm honest about it. Ooh, the Bath song is a great song. I don't have my Fellowship of the Ring right now with me, but that's the Bath song. Isn't the Bath song "Home is Behind, the World Ahead"? Or it's in that chapter, right? That's the walking song. That's right. Interesting. Wow, Michael, that's actually a hot take. Because I feel like Andy Serkis probably does better than me for singing the songs. But compared to Inglis, I feel like most people like Inglis a lot better for the songs. Or Ingles. Inglis? I don't know how to say it. Yes, I'm thinking of the Farmer Maggot Bath song. Or the, no, the Old Forest song. Honestly, sometimes I don't understand why dramatized readings are not more popular. Like they're doing this with Harry Potter, but why have they not done a full casted audiobook of Lord of the Rings with someone who legitimately like throw a musician in there to write this music with the original lyrics and then put it in? You know what I mean? All right, we are getting really distracted, guys. I'm sorry. I know. Am I the only one that says full cast audiobooks are the way to go? Like everyone needs to do that in the future. Wait, there is one on Spotify of the Lord of the Rings full cast audiobook? I've never heard that. No, Tolkien rants. You have to actually post that. I would love to see that. Honestly, you kind of feel stupid when you're singing it, but people really like it. I mean, you guys are all responding. I think I'm a terrible singer, but you guys are very kind to me, so thank you. I know they did it. This was a funny anecdote. I mean, we have like a page left to read, so we'll go in a second. We'll finish this in a second. But one of my they probably would be wildly expensive. Rather than hiring one reader they'd be insane, and they probably wouldn't get mass appeal. But honestly, you just hire a bunch of like unknown voice actors. It's not that significant. You probably wouldn't have to pay them like exorbitant amounts. Because I'm listening to this is so like end of the stream discussion, but we'll just stick this in now and then I'll finish the last page in a second. I'm listening to the Midnight Library, and they got Carrie, what's her last name? The actress to record that. They had to pay. If you're paying an actress to read this audiobook, she has a great voice. Carrie Mulligan. She has lovely voice. She's not the best audiobook reader, but some actors just have very soothing voices, and she's one of those. But I don't love her reading it that much, but they must have paid her a lot of money to read this because she's a famous actress. Why not pay a bunch of lesser known actors, get some voice acting done in this, and then give me a full cast audiobook? Kristen, that's interesting that you mentioned that. Didn't they do one of the Narnia series too? Maybe that was just an audiobook. There was one kid that I went to college with, and he was a like a shuttle driver, because our campus was like split off, and they would have a shuttle between two different parts of the campus, and he would drive the shuttle, and he would read, or he would listen to the Narnia series, and people wouldn't leave the shuttle because they were so engrossed by the story. I still remember sitting in the shuttle with him for like half of one book, and I wasn't paying attention to the book because I was just chatting with him. But people would go into the shuttle and they'd be like, "Oh, what are you listening to?" Because he wasn't listening to music, which is what every other shuttle driver would do. He was just listening to the audiobook of Narnia. And everyone would stay in the shuttle. I remember people would be like, "Oh, can we do another round?" Like, they're like, "I'll miss classes if I could just stay here and listen to the Narnia books." I love that they're your comfort listens. That's great. So good. Okay, everyone, we'll talk in a second, but let me finish the last page and a half. Because I have to finish the last page and a half. I have to finish a text to someone, and then we can just chat for a little bit before we all go to bed, because it's 10:11. 10:11. Does that mean anything? It was indeed the deepening gloom that the king came to Edoras. It was indeed in deepening gloom that the king came to Edoras. Although it was then it was but noon by the hour. There he halted only a short while, and strengthened his host by some 70 of riders that came late to the weapon take. Now, having eaten, he made ready to set out again. And he wished his esquire a kindly farewell. But Mary begged for the last time not to be parted from him. There is no journey for such steeds as Stiba, as I have told you, said Théoden. And in such a battle as we think to make on the fields of Gondor, what would you do, Master Meriadoc, sword thane though you be, and greater of heart than of stature? As for that, who can tell, answered Mary. But why, Lord, did you receive me as sword thane, if not to stay by your side? And I would not have said it of me in song only that I was always left behind. And I would not have it said of me in song only that I was always left behind. Aww. I received you for your safekeeping, answered Théoden, and also to do as I might bid. None of my riders can bear you as burden. If the battle were before my gates, maybe your deeds would be remembered by the minstrels, but it is 100 leagues and 2 to Moonburg, where Denethor is lord. I will say no more. Mary bowed and went away unhappily, and stared at the lines of horsemen. Already the companies were preparing to start. Men were tightening girths, looking to saddles, caressing their horses. Some gazed uneasily at the lowering sky. Unnoticed, a rider came up and spoke softly in the hobbit's ear. Where will wants not, a way opens, so we say. Where will wants not, a way opens, so we say. Where will wants not? Where will wants not, a way opens, so we say. What? Where will wants not, a way opens. Will like willpower. Gotcha. That took me long enough. It's been a long live read, guys. Give me some leeway. Where will wants not, a way opens. Perfect. That makes sense now. So we say, he whispered, and so I have found myself. So is this kid a boy that's riding into battle? Oh. Mary looked up and saw that it was the young rider whom he had noticed in the morning. You wish to go whither the Lord of the Mark goes. I see it in your face. I do, said Mary. Then you shall ride with me, said the rider. I will bear you before me. A new character. It's not Éowyn. I will bear you before me, under my cloak until we are far afield, and this darkness is yet darker. Such good will not be denied. Say no more to any man, but come. Thank you indeed, said Mary. Thank you, sir, though I do not know your name. Do you not? Said the rider softly. They call me Durnhelm. This is kind of cool. That should just be the end of the chapter there. They call me Durnhelm. Because his description was he looked like a child, right? A young man, Mary thought as he returned the glance, less in height and girth than most. Is he just a shorter man? Or is he a boy? Or is he a hobbit? Thus it came to pass that when the king set out, before Durnhelm sat Meriadoc the hobbit, and the great grey steed, Windfola, made little of the burden. For Durnhelm was less in weight than many men, though lithe and well knit in frame. On into the shadows they rode, in the willow wickets, where Snowbourn flowed into Entwash, 12 leagues east of Edoras. They camped that night, and then went on again through the fold, and through the Fenmark, where to their right great oak woods climbed on the skirts of the hills under the shades of dark Halifirion, by the borders of Gondor. But away to their left, the mists lay on the marshes fed by the mouths of the Entwash. And as they rode, rumor came of war in the north. Lone men, riding wild, brought word of foes assailing their east borders, and of orc hosts marching in the wold of Rohan. In the east? Oh no, that makes sense. The east borders, okay. Where are they coming from? Is this the massive army? Ride on, cried Eomer. Too late now to turn aside. The fens of Entwash must guard our flank. Haste now, we need. Ride on. And so King Théoden departed from his own realm, and mile by mile the long road wound away, and the beacon hills marched past. Calenad, Meanramon, Erilas, Nardol, but their fires were quenched. All the lands were grey and still, and ever the shadow deepened before them, and hope waned in every heart. Tolkien's got to stop saying that hope is waning and that things are getting bleaker and bleaker at the end of every chapter. Can he end one chapter with just a little bit of something to it? I know hope is waning, and I know things are getting bleak, but the last 3 chapters he's ended with that same exact thing, that there's darkness. I gotta write an essay about that. Hold on, I gotta write a note. Tolkien's freaking chapter ending. What's this kid's name? Durnhelm. Oh, wow. I know things are getting bleaker and bleaker, but Durnhelm would have been a great opportunity. I don't know who this kid is yet. I'm actually interested who this kid is. Don't give me any spoilers on who he is, but my guess right now is that he's just a kid that is sneaking off to battle. Like he's probably like a little bit like Beargle, but I don't know. It says he's lithe, and he's still like well put together and kind of stout. I don't know. Dude. Wait, gray eyes. Who else has gray eyes? Faramir has gray eyes. He's a man of Gondor? Don't a lot of Gondorians have gray eyes? Or aren't they a lot of them described as gray eyes? What did Faramir have that was gray? Is this kid a Gondorian? An escaped Gondorian coming back to fight? I've not met a single person with gray eyes. Boromir returns. This is the son of Boromir. Imagine if this was the son of Boromir. Oh my gosh. Wes, you okay, buddy? You bummed? I don't know. I haven't met a single person with gray eyes. I have like greenish, kind of more like hazel eyes. Yeah, blue eyes kind of do look gray. Actually, that's true. Maybe they're just like a lighter blue. Michael, I cannot. Michael, this is an ongoing thing. I can't trust anything that you say anymore. Some of your comments have made me laughing so loud. Oh, they're so good. I guess blue eyes, they be blue-gray eyes, right? The Dunedain have gray eyes. Is this kid a child of a Dunedain? Oh, Hirgon in the chapter had gray eyes. Hirgon? Who was Hirgon again? Grand? Ooh, depending on the light, your eyes look blue or gray. Cool. Ooh. Everyone send pictures of your eyes and post it in the Discord. No, don't do that. But I would love, I'm going to look this up later. I'm just really curious who what's his name again? Durnhelm. He's an interesting character. I don't know if I necessarily want to do an essay on him because I don't know that much about him. He's cool. And I will say, I know that Tolkien is trying to ramp up the endings of chapters by saying, like, there is no hope. All things are terrible. But it would have been a pretty dope ending if he ended it. Thank you, sir, though I do not know your name. Do you not? Said the writer softly. Then call me Durnhelm. Is that his actual name too? Is this going to come up? Hold on. Hold the phone. Who else was said to have gray eyes? Is this Éowyn? Is this not? Then call me Durnhelm. Is this Éowyn lying about being Éowyn? Everyone's biting their tongue right now. This is Éowyn. I'm kind of convinced that this is Éowyn. I forgot the description of her eyes and I don't want to look it up. Call me Ishmael. Hold on. I think she's... What was her description? How did I not see this earlier? I am 99% sure that that Durnhelm is Éowyn. And Tolkien is just leading me astray. I will bury you before me under my cloak until we are far afield, and this darkness is yet darker. Because she has to hide her identity too. This has to be Éowyn. I want to look up what color her eyes are. I don't remember what color her eyes were. Shoot. Oh, this is going to really get me. This is going to really get me. I need to do a video essay about who Dernhelm is for my first reading so everyone can sit and laugh at me. That'll be my last. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write an essay. That'll probably be my last essay on this chapter. And then I probably wouldn't publish it until after I would do a live read of the next chapter to see if I can know. But the next chapter is not the Rohirrim chapter. So maybe someone's going to still give me a spoiler. I'm not reading any of this too. So don't, I'm trying to not read so much. I'm trying to let some of the chat pass by so that I don't have any spoilers on this because I don't want to see anything. And then if you're a mod too, just delete some of these other comments that are popping up. So I'm tempted to make more people mods so that they can delete any spoilers that come. But right now, I'd probably say I'm 90% sure that Dernhelm is Éowyn, but just disguised as Éowyn, dressed like a boy. Has to be. It has to be. This is Mulan. She's Mulan. I would go nuts. Okay, guys, give me a second. I'm gonna write a text, and I'm not gonna look at any of the chat for a second. And I am going to let chat pass before we talk about something else. But I have to answer this chat or this text because I've waited an hour or two. This is an important one. Sorry. Sorry. I'm not being very entertaining on this. the one comment I see. It's Saruman. That is so funny. All right, text answered. Guys, I know who it is. It's the Quick Duck. He's back. The Quick Duck was described as having gray eyes. Dernhelm means quick duck in Sindarin. That would be great. I would love it. Imagine if the Quick Duck ever makes a reappearance. It's the slow goose. That's great. One thing I was saying this before, but I would love it so much. I'm so bummed that I didn't do live reads until when did we start doing live reads? Till book 4, when all the songs were gone. It would have been so fun to do live reads of the first book. When I reread it again, when I'll do a reread, and it's not going to be quite as fun because I'll know everything then, but I'll get more things. So when I finish maybe the Silmarillion, I'll do another reread of The Lord of the Rings, and we'll do a live one. And then maybe I'll sing all the songs in that one. Or no, The Hobbit's got a bunch of songs. We can sing the songs in The Hobbit. Yes. Pumped. Doesn't The Hobbit have a bunch of songs? Or am I misremembering that? The Misty Mountain tune. They do that well in the books, to be honest. The Hobbit has 5 songs, that's it? Oh no, about 1 per chapter. Good. I love that. The dwarf songs, a lot of songs. Good. I love that. The Misty Mountain song is actually kind of great. Okay, everyone, this is actually a good question. What is your favorite song in the Lord of the Rings movie? Or the Hobbit movie? Like, of all the Tolkien stuff out there, what's your guys' favorite of the songs? And it could be original movies too, like animated stuff. I would probably say, yeah, it can be animated movies. I think my two favorites are Dwaro Delph, where there's a whip, there's a way. Dude, kind of hits. Kind of hits. The Dwaro Delph, that's not really a song. It's more of like just the accompaniment. But that one always hits me in the feels. And then Pippin's song, Home is Behind, is just so good. And Billy Boyd singing that is just, yeah, the Edge of Night song is probably my favorite one. It's just perfect. It's just so good. Rob Ingalls Walking song. The Misty Mountain song is so good. The Hobbit, honestly, that's a great song that they do in The Hobbit. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard, that song. How about this one? You guys know they put the Will You Wear Wigs thing to the tune of Little Mermaid. So he goes, Will you wear wigs? When will you wear wigs? Or something like that. And they play it to that tune. Everyone go look that up on YouTube. Because it's so funny. Oh, it's so good. Oh, the world was young, the mountains green. Oh, that's so good. I'm so mad they didn't put that in the movies. Because as far as the book is concerned, that is my favorite song of all time. Of all time. Oh. And there's some really good YouTube versions. Dang, guys. That is so good. It's so good. Oh, Tolkien Rants. If you didn't post that one already, post that. Durin's song might be my favorite one. I made an independent video because I love that song so much, where I just recited the poem. I didn't sing it, but maybe I should sing it. Maybe I should make another one where I sing it. The world was laid on stream or stone. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, their lament for Boromir is great. I like their Song of Durin the most because I listened to their songs as I've read, and I think their Song of Durin is probably their best one, I would say. Yeah, John Rhys Davis, or he recites it. He kind of recites it, but they play it to the tune of that. Yes, write some bad melodies to some Tolkien songs, please. I love that. That would be so good. That would be so great. Honestly, probably make it big like that. The greatest adventure is so nostalgic. Interesting. Of him the harpers fondly sing, sadly sing. What song is that? He named the nameless hills and dales. Oh, it's so good. Oh my gosh, dude. There's some great stuff. Brett, I love this so much that you're just posting every single line in this. This makes me happy. This makes me very happy. That's such a good song. All right, guys. The stream has gone on long enough. That was a good chapter. Even though there was the chapter, a lot of description in that chapter. And maybe a bit more like I feel like I'm at the end of my emotion on some of these moments. Like, not that these are character arcs, but they're kind of plot arcs to some extent. And is this little kid, Éowyn. I'm 90% sure that it is, but I don't know. Yeah, it's been a 3-hour stream. It's been fun. I love these streams so much, honestly. I say this after every stream, but these streams are some of my favorite things ever. I love doing these streams because it's just fun to chat with you guys. You guys are so fun. And then make up songs for this. It's the best. If I read Harry Potter, I would get demonetized and banned from YouTube so fast. I had a podcast where I talked about Harry Potter and I got copyright stricken. It has been a really good stream. This has been a really fun stream, guys. Sometimes even though they're not like the best chapters, some of the like the non-incredible chapters, like that was a good chapter. I would not put that on my top 10 chapters probably. Although there's like emotionally charged moments. But they're still fun to just sit and just chill and read with you guys. Great. I love doing this stuff, guys. It's so fun. Brett, I'm gonna wait till you finish the song. You got to do all the entire thing. Although, aren't you in the beginning right now of Mighty Kings in Nargothrond and Gondolin who now beyond? I have slightly memorized that poem. I'm glad that you led the reading streams. They're fun. I have about 10 essays I had on this chapter. I don't think any of them are particularly long essays, to be honest. Like, some of them are funny. I think the longest essay is just going to be about Merry in this chapter. But a lot of them are going to be short. Like, the Red Arrow one will be short. Pippin's loneliness. Or, no, Merry's loneliness, sorry. How Théoden is amazing. Brago the horse. The last man of the dead. There's like just cool moments that happen in this. So it'll be an essay a day, but next live reading probably won't come till next week, mid next week, end of next week maybe. But I have to, before I read the next chapter, I have to record the podcast with the rest of the First Timers crew. That's the goal. And so I think we're going to do that Wednesday of next week. So it'll be another week. So I'll have a bunch of essays on this chapter. Until then, record it, and then probably Thursday, I guess, I do a live read of next week. So it's not going to be for a week, but maybe this weekend, I think this weekend I'll actually stream, like Lord of the Rings Online. I'll like make my character and play it for a little bit, and just like hang out with you guys as we just chat and chill. That kind of sounds fun. Maybe that'll be like a Saturday night or a Sunday night activity. I love it. You read it every September. It was a great chapter. Next time, the ketchup of Gondor. Yeah, it's the Siege of Gondor, right? The Sriracha of Gondor. What else is a good sauce that starts with an S? I don't know. What's the new Hobbit game? The Siege is the depressing chapter. I love a good depressing chapter, though. I love me a depressing chapter. I want to cry. Worcestershire sauce. Okay, good. I'm excited for it. It's going to be good. Guys, I'll see you next time. Got some more videos coming out. Probably sometime this weekend I'll stream again just to chill with you guys and just hang out. So if you guys want to just join, feel free. But if not, I'll see you guys on the flippity flip. Namarie. Everyone say goodbye. You know what? Hot take real quick. I'm going to play this again. Because hot take. When I was growing up, I didn't think she was that attractive. Now that I'm 34, she is so attractive to me. I think I made this comment before. But she is my Galadriel. But she's gay, so she wouldn't be interested in me. Not Galadriel. Galadriel's married to Teleporno. I still can't believe his name is Teleporno, guys. What the heck? And I feel like she's gotten hotter with age. But that's all I got to say on that. I'll finish this and then I'll see you guys. See you guys later.